What if the very thing keeping you stuck is how hard you're trying? What if the moment you finally let go, everything you've been chasing starts moving toward you instead? That's not wishful thinking, not some feel-good quote slapped on a sunset. That is how energy works. And it's how life actually flows underneath all the noise we create. When you're gripping too tightly, when you need something so badly you can taste it, your energy stiffens. You block the very thing you want from coming in. It's like trying to catch a river with your fists. The harder you squeeze, the more water slips through. Think about all the times you were desperate for something. Love, success, answers. The harder you pushed, the farther it drifted. But then something shifted. You got tired. You hit that wall where you finally said, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And suddenly, doors opened. Opportunities appeared. People showed up out of nowhere. That is not a coincidence. When you let go of needing something, your energy shifts from scarcity to trust. Life always responds better to trust than to fear. Because needing says, I don't have it, and I don't believe I ever will. Letting go says, I'm already whole. If it comes, beautiful. If not, I'm still whole. That subtle shift is what flips the entire game. Most people don't realize that letting go isn't giving up. It's stepping out of the way long enough for life to work for you instead of against you. When you're constantly trying to control every outcome, you're moving from fear. Fear that it won't happen. Fear that you're not enough. Fear that if you stop trying for even a second, everything collapses. But that's the trap. Life isn't built on force. Life is built on flow. Have you ever noticed how the best things in your life come when you're just living? When you're present? When you're not watching the clock? When you're not squeezing the future so tightly you can't even breathe? Think about it. The friendships that lasted, you didn't force them. The opportunities that changed your life, you stumbled into them while doing your thing, not begging the world to notice you. The moments that made you feel truly alive weren't planned, weren't manufactured, they were lived. That's because life isn't responding to your effort, it's responding to your energy. And your energy is clearest, cleanest, most magnetic when you're at peace with yourself. Not needy, not desperate, just trusting. When you trust, you're in alignment. And when you're in alignment, the things meant for you don't have to be chased. They arrive. If you've experienced this, that moment where you stopped trying and everything suddenly clicked, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Now here's something few people will ever tell you. The more you chase certainty, the more you invite chaos. Because needing everything to make sense right now, needing every answer immediately, it closes you off from paths you can't even see yet. Life has an intelligence that runs deeper than your plans. It's weaving possibilities, lining up chances that go far beyond what your conscious mind can design. But when you're clinging to one specific idea of how things must unfold, you go blind to the better ways life is trying to hand you something greater. You know those moments when something falls apart and you panic? You think it's the worst thing that could possibly happen. Months later, you look back and realize it was the best thing that ever happened. That is not an accident. That's life answering your deeper needs, not your surface fears. The more you loosen your grip, the more you let go of needing a specific outcome at a specific time, the more space you create for something better to rush in. And trust, real trust, is not passive. Trust is powerful. Trust says, I am showing up fully. I am doing the work. But I am not desperate for this to look exactly how I think it should. It's about moving forward without dragging your expectations behind you like heavy chains. When you carry that energy, something starts to shift. People are drawn to you differently. Opportunities find you more easily. And somehow, without fighting so hard, the things you once struggled for start unfolding with less resistance. Because the energy of trust is not frantic, it's magnetic. Life always answers the energy you lead with. Now here's where it gets even more real. Most people don't trust life because they've been trained to trust fear more than possibility. From the moment we're young, we're taught to plan for disaster, expect betrayal, protect ourselves from disappointment at every turn. So, naturally, trusting feels unsafe. It feels reckless, like standing on the edge of a cliff with no harness. But here's the thing nobody tells you. You're already standing on that cliff. You always have been. Life was never controllable in the first place. All the plans, all the micromanaging, all the anxiety, they only create the illusion of safety. They don't actually protect you from anything. Real safety is learning to surf the waves, not trying to dam the ocean. It's learning to be alive inside the chaos, not fighting it, not begging it to calm down, but moving with it. Like a dance you've always secretly known the steps to. When you lean into trust, you don't stop caring about your dreams. You just stop trying to wrestle them into existence. You stop suffocating them with pressure, and you realize something. What's meant for you isn't fragile. It doesn't need you to squeeze tighter. It needs you to meet it halfway. Open palms, open heart, not clenched fists. Every single thing you're trying to force right now, every person you're chasing, every goal you're strangling with the need to control it, you're blocking it, gripping with fear instead of meeting it with trust. And the moment you ease that grip, the moment you take a breath and say, I trust life to lead me where I'm meant to go, everything starts to move, faster, but softer, easier, more naturally, because you're no longer standing in your own way. And here's something nobody really talks about. Most of the struggle you feel isn't because you're doing the wrong things. It's because you're doing them with tightness, with fear running underneath every action, with that voice in your head whispering, if I don't make this happen, I'll lose everything. So you grip harder. You panic when results don't show up immediately. You start thinking maybe you're failing, when really you're just forcing. And life does not respond to force. It responds to alignment. When you're acting from fear, you create resistance. When you're acting from trust, you create momentum. There is a massive difference between those two states, even when the actions look exactly the same on the outside. Think about this. Have you ever met someone who's effortlessly magnetic? Not because they're trying to impress you, not because they're desperate for your approval, but because they're relaxed. They trust themselves, they trust their path, they trust life to carry them forward. You can feel it the moment they walk into a room. Something about them just hits different. Here's the secret. You can have that too. You don't need to become better. You don't need to become stronger or more impressive or more accomplished. You need to become lighter. You need to remember that you are already enough without squeezing life into some perfect timeline that only exists in your head. Because the moment you stop trying to control every outcome, the outcomes you actually want start flowing to you naturally, like a river that finds its course once the boulders are cleared. The less you panic, the more you open. The less you chase, the more you attract. The less you grip, the more you grow. It's not about doing less. It's about being different while you do it. You become a calmer, wiser version of yourself. Not because you forced that transformation, but because you trusted yourself enough to allow it. Here's the real paradox. The more you loosen your grip, the stronger your results become. Almost sounds unfair, right? You work so hard, you hustle, you grind, you control every detail, and somehow things still slip through your fingers. But the moment you ease up, the right opportunities, the right people, the right moments, they start landing in your lap. It's not magic, it's energy. When you're desperate, people feel it. Even if you smile perfectly, even if you say all the right words, they sense the tension underneath. That please work out energy. It pushes things away whether you realize it or not. But when you stop depending on the outcome to define your worth, you move differently, you talk differently, you walk into rooms differently. You don't need things to happen anymore. You choose for them to happen, from strength instead of survival. And that small internal shift changes everything. Because life, as strange as it sounds, mirrors your inner state. If you're constantly doubting, life keeps throwing obstacles to test you. If you're constantly trusting, life starts throwing open doors you didn't even know existed. It's like a silent contract you have with reality. You say, "I'll trust you to unfold." Reality says, "I'll trust you to show up." That's the deal. And the moment you honor your side of it, everything shifts. You stop waking up every morning panicking about when and how your dreams will arrive. Instead, you wake up with quiet excitement because you know they're already on their way. You walk lighter because the weight of needing it all right now just disappears. You become magnetic not by chasing, but by being the person who already belongs to that bigger life. And honestly, that's where the real winners live, not in a race to control everything, in a dance with trust. You trust that life's delays are setups, not setbacks. You trust that missed opportunities are protection, not punishment. You trust that what's meant for you is already moving toward you, even when you can't see it yet. That is the hidden advantage most people never tap into. They never realize trust was the shortcut they were looking for all along. When you truly trust life, something even more remarkable happens. You stop forcing timelines that were never meant for you in the first place. Most people are obsessed with speed. I need to make it happen now. If it's not happening yet, it must be failing. But here's the reality. Speed means nothing if you're racing toward the wrong thing. Real trust is the art of letting the right things take their natural shape, even if it's slower than your ego wants. Because what you force often breaks, and what you trust often builds itself stronger than you could have designed on your own. The biggest things in your life, the ones that truly changed who you are, probably didn't arrive on your personal deadline. They showed up in their own time, in ways you never planned. A friendship that came out of nowhere. An opportunity you didn't even apply for. A door that opened when you weren't looking anymore. That's what life does when you stop screaming, "Where is it?" and start whispering, "I'm ready when you are." Because there's a rhythm to your life that is so much bigger than the pressure you feel right now. When you step into trust, you align with that rhythm. You stop interrupting your own blessings with fear. You stop rushing into places you were never meant to be. You stop shrinking every time things don't follow your script. You let life surprise you because you trust that the unseen forces working for you are more powerful than the visible ones working against you. And the beautiful part? When you start living this way, people notice. They see you walking differently, speaking differently, radiating a peace they can't quite explain, and they wonder what changed. But you'll know. It wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was trust. Real trust. The kind that says, I don't chase, I align, I don't demand, I prepare, I don't panic, I receive. And that, my friend, is when life stops being a battle and starts feeling like a conversation you're finally patient enough to listen to. Here's the quiet secret you begin to realize once you trust life enough. You're not missing out. You're not falling behind. You're not losing time. You're simply allowing yourself to breathe in a world that is always gasping for the next big thing. The ones who keep chasing every shiny moment are usually the ones who miss the real opportunities, because real opportunities don't scream for your attention. They whisper. They show up when your mind is clear, when your hands aren't already gripping 5 other things out of fear. Trusting life isn't about sitting around doing nothing. It's about living in a way where your peace becomes more magnetic than your panic, where the right people, the right moments, and the right paths naturally connect with you. Not because you forced them into existence, because you made space for them to arrive. You begin to notice it in small ways first. That call you stopped obsessing over, suddenly it comes through. That opportunity you almost begged for, a better one crosses your path when you least expect it. That connection you thought you lost forever finds its way back on better terms than you could have planned. Life rewards those willing to trust it with open hands. Not clenched fists, not desperate moves, quiet confidence. And it's almost a paradox. The less you force it, the faster it unfolds. The less you obsess, the more naturally it finds you. Because when you're not anchored in fear, you move differently. You speak differently. You radiate something that people and opportunities want to be near. That's why you see it in people who've truly evolved. There's a calmness about them that makes no logical sense. They're not rushing to prove their worth. They're not trying to earn what's already on its way, and that could be you. That energy could be yours, starting today. If you're tired of living in chase mode, if you're ready to experience how powerful you become when you stop forcing what was never yours to force, then the time is now. Choose trust. Choose calm alignment. Choose to believe that life is not working against you. It's preparing something better than you imagined. If this spoke to you today, if you feel something shifting inside right now, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Leave the word align in the comments. Let's see how many of us are stepping into a different kind of power together. Quiet, calm, certain, aligned. Your next chapter doesn't start with more chasing. It starts with more trusting.